Outer Orange.
Hello and welcome to another video. Welcome back. This is OuterOrange here today. Today we're going to be discussing the Ghosty Beatrice list. I've been posting a lot of lists recently of me testing the deck, and today I want to share with you guys my current list. I will say this list will probably change quite a few times, but it's probably a good starting point. This isn't the most friendly list in terms of beginner friendliness, but I'll do my best. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get started. This is the Ghosty Beatrice deck. I've made a lot of profiles on this deck before, and this is for VPremium this time, and we're gonna be talking about because recently we got a new promo, and now with the new promo the deck has officially changed. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. This time I'm using the rate sleeves. This is from one of the clan collections recently. I got the whole sleeve set because I like this right here. I like the fishy, so I'm running it for that. And then for deck box, I'm actually using our good old girl right here. This is from Quintuplets. I'm using this as my main deck box right now. I don't know why I chose this one specifically. I've always liked this deck box, obviously, because this is best girl, but you know, best girl always wins, right? Best girl always wins. But anyway, guys, so let's go ahead and get started. Grade 3s, we'll start with that first. So this is the Ghosty Leader Beatrice. Very amazing card. This card, ever since it dropped, has been insane in Grand Blue. It really has made Grand Blue just overall, it's just a better clan just with this card existing. It usually is used as a side engine, but in this deck we're using it as the main engine. She's got a couple skills. She says on place you can Soul Blast and call card from drop to board as long as it's not herself. And then she's got a couple other skills. She says all her Ghosty units, like all Ghosty units, have 5k shield, 5k power on rear guard and guard circles. So including herself, you have a bunch of 5k shield now, so you can just utilize that. All your Ghosties have extra power, so you have a very beefy deck. And last but not least, whenever your card is retired, like at all during your turn, you can counter blast and call a card that is a lower grade. And this is gonna be a big part of the whole deck because you're gonna be multi-attacking. You're gonna be going from a 3 to a 2 to a 1 to a 0, and you can loop it a couple times like that. And it's very CB heavy, but you can do quite a few things. But this is our starting point. And then next I run one of the Dragon Undead Skull Dragon. I'm probably gonna up this to 2, but right now I'm keeping it at 1 because I have other options as well. But this is pretty much the card you want to start with to the loop. To start the loop, you go into a 3, you go into a 2, you go to a 1, to go 0. We'll kind of go into more details about this card. For now, all you need to know is that this gets very huge. It gets 2k for everything in your drop, so it just gets ginormous as hell. On the grade 2 slot, this is kind of when things get a little weird, and I think my deck really starts changing from other people's potential decks. I think a lot of people are just gonna either stick to the game plan of the normal stuff or maybe add some more grade 1s. I don't know, but I don't think anyone has thought about this card yet as much as I've thought about this card. But I definitely think this is the best card to run in Beatrice, and that's actually this card right here. This is Negro Lazy. On place, you may call grade 0 from your drop zone to the rear guard circle. Now, why does this matter? Well, it matters because of the new promo we got. We're gonna go into this promo in like a hot second here. I just kind of want to start a little bit, but it's because of this guy that we're actually running this card now. The card is a 0, mills, and does a lot of stuff, and you want to utilize that, make the Ghosty as much as possible. So that's why we run 4 copies of Negro Lazy, because you want to be able to use as much as possible. The other thing about Negro Lazy that's really nice is when you place him and you place Mick, you can then retire them for good old Jesse right here. So you can kind of just keep doing that over and over again while stacking a bunch of power. And overall, it's just a very good combination. And yeah, this card is very good. Some people, I can see this card getting replaced, but you really don't need to. You can also, there's also a Vanguard rear guard skill, so you can actually ride this, and then if you want, you can ride a column. You can put a column board or a greed shade to the side as well. So just something to keep in mind. This card is just very insane. Greed shade, I'm not very happy with 3. I kind of want this to be at 4, but currently I'm running at 3. So this is Greed Shade, one of the best cards that's been printed in Grand Blue still to this day. I don't know what else to say. On place, you discard a card, you mill 2, and then you grab anything from drop into your hand as long as it's not himself. So this is just an amazing card. You can grab Heal Guardians with this. You can grab your right target with this. You can grab more bones with this. You can cycle a bunch of ways. There's so many things to do. Something I want to know about this deck is that this deck is insanely high brain. There's just so many levels of play, so many things you need to analyze and kind of keep track of the whole time. And what you grab a Greed Shade is super important. It can lose the game if you grab the wrong thing, because this deck doesn't draw off that fast. So you want to kind of keep in mind, whatever you're grabbing, you better know your matchup. I run 2 column board. This is kind of like a wishy-washy slot, like I said, because I'm running these, like I have to cut back somewhere, so this is kind of where I'm cutting back, right? So yeah, 2 column board. It's a counter blast to pretty much take a card from deck, put it in your drop, and then call from drop anything, and it's a hard once per turn, very hard once per turn. So essentially you can just call, you know, whatever you want. You can mill out a dragon, call a dragon. You can mill out a greed shade, call a greed shade. You can mill out something else and call whatever is in your drop. It's a very it's very versatile. It's a very rough situations. I used to have it at 0. I actually put it back to 2 because I found that sometimes it does come in handy. So I put it back just, you know, for those off situations when I need them. Originally this was a Greed Shade and a Jesse actually, but now right now it's currently Column Bard. Run 1 ship. I actually used to never run Stormlight Ghost Ship. This is pretty much just on attack. You at the end of battle, on attack it gets plus 15, so it's a 24k beater, and then it retires itself and draws 0 cards. So then you can loop from this to a grade 1 unit to off of Beatrice's skill, mainly just for the extra draw, but also that 24 24k can hit like a truck sometimes. I'm still debating on this card as well. I'm not 100% sure, but it lets me cut back on triggers, trigger lineup a little bit, so I'm keeping it for now. But this is like a maybe greed shade situation. I'm not 100% on this card yet, but regardless, it's still a good boy card that a lot of people may not consider in their lists because this card is super old. Sounds bad on paper, but it is actually Ben the Ghosty. Ben the Ghosty skill says when put into the drop zone from deck, you can soul blast and call this card to rigor circle. So why does this matter? Well, one, if you're going second, you can actually rush your opponent down because you don't really care about counterblast early. Like, you really don't care about counterblast early, and having being able to rush and then having the as interceptor is really good. You can also with Mick the Ghosty, you can mill him mid battle and then call him out to have an attack extender, but that's like super high roll. But the main thing is actually just the soul blast itself. Sometimes you'll end up riding your Ghosty units and you really need a way to soul blast them out, and this is one of the best ways to do it. So you can soul blast with her. You say you have 2 stock, you can soul blast with her and soul blast with him, but mainly it's actually just there for the rush. You want to call him out as early as possible and just have a beater early on. He is an 8k, so you have to keep in mind you do need a booster behind him, but usually you will have one since you'll usually use Damien's skill to call him out, and then he'll have your 16k side column, and you can retire them for Jesse and do whatever else you feel like doing. So that's a great 2 lineup. Very nice. I like it so far. Tommy the Ghosty brothers, this is just a great researcher, you know, on place from hand. Look at top 5 cards of your deck, grab a 3, any 3, and put it in your hand. If you do, you have to discard. And the secondary scale, if you have 5 in your drop zone, this gets 5 plus 5k. This gets, now with Mick, this becomes very accurate. Now, something to keep in mind is the Ghosty unit, so is this. These are 10k shields, these are 50k shields. So something to keep in mind, these are 5k shields. And then we'll go into some more because some of the shields get even higher than this. So you just run this just to see your pieces faster. Also, Heal Guardians, you can actually get away with running Heal Guardians. Now, in the past, Ghosties has been very unreliant on Heal Guardians. You had to run vanillas. Now you can actually get away with running Heal Guardians because Mick exists, so it's just something to keep in mind. Overall, this is a really good beat stick, and again, the shields are really high. It's constantly an 18k beater because this will give it the extra 5k, so it's 13 on its own and then plus 5k off this. 18 is pretty large. Under Protect 2 gets even higher, and then also on top of that, shield under Protect 2, and it just gets massive. So next we have Damien, one of the biggest staples in the deck. You really want to find this like as soon as possible. This is an insanely good card. It says on place from hand, you can search your deck for any Ghosty unit and just directly mill it. So you can mill this, you can mill this, you can mill this, you can mill this, you can mill Mick the Ghosty, you can mill any other Ghosties in your deck. They are millable, so just like easy access to find your Ghosties as soon as possible, so you can start getting your engine going like ASAP. So that's kind of the point of that. So that's what this is there for. And then also it is the other attack extender to Jesse. I just realized I never discussed Jesse. So Jesse says on battle he gets 5k, and then at the end of the turn he at the end of the battle he countercharges, and after him you can use her skill to go to the 1, and he has the exact same skill as well. So it's a little different, but the timing wise, but the effect is the same. I run 3 Negro Bone. I used to run 4 actually, but you know, because of space I had to kind of start making room for other stuff, so I put it back to 3. I think 3 is fine if you're running Columbard. I think 3 is not fine if you're not running Columbard, so I think you have to keep it at 4 if you're choosing not to run Columbard. So just something to keep in mind. Skill is very simple. You discard a card from hand, and then you put the step on your deck, and then you call anything as long as you have 10 or more in your drop. So as long as you have 10 or more in your drop, you can do that. If you don't have 10 or more in drop, you have to call grade 1 or less. So just something to keep in mind. Usually when I use this late game, not early game, you want to late game just set up for your dragon, your ghost ship, your Jesse, whatever you need on the board, you just set up for it that way. And that's that. Now let's talk about pretty much the MVP now. Let's talk about Mick the Ghosty. This is your last slot here. That's why, the deck changed a little bit ever since this card came out. So this is Mick the Ghosty, just dropped. I think some people are still having some trouble getting access to his card. I got very lucky with getting access to this early. My locals actually gave it to me as well. They a bunch of folks just kind of threw copies at me, so thank you so much for that. I used to think this was like complete dog doo-doo, and then I was like, wow, this card's actually, once I actually hand tested it, I just literally what I did was I took my Beatrice deck and I just put it in, and I was like, oh my god, this card's actually solid. And then I instantly found the synergy with the Negro Lazy, because the Negro Lazy is insane. But anyway, this card says when placed by a regards on regards equal by card's ability, so through Columbard, through Beatrice, through Negerbone, all those effects go off. And until the end of turn, you discard the top 2 cards of your deck, so you mill 2, and until end of turn you get a red effect. At the end of battle, this unit attacked or boosted, it retires, and then it has a second part of it where it says you get to choose a unit and give it 10k. And by the way, that is any unit that includes Vanguard, that includes itself, that includes any regards, that includes boosters, everything. And I think the biggest thing about this is that mill is huge. Milling 2 on and over and over again. This isn't once per turn, so you can kind of just keep doing it, and you can do it over and over again. It's just huge because it makes your drop stuff massive. It means we don't have to rely on navigators much anymore. It just kind of adds a lot of pressure. Very solid. That 10k is massive because on grade 2 turn you can now rush your opponent if you need to. You can just do a lot of funny stuff. Now does have a secondary skill. It says from drop, when your Vanguard attacks, if your drop has 10 or more cards, Counter Blast calls card to an open rearguard circle. Now keep in mind, it doesn't have to be an open rearguard circle, but if you know the synergy, you'll always get this to go off. Counter Blast powers are very heavy, but yes, you can call this out. Yes, you can Mulligan. Yes, you can give 10k to something, and that's kind of where also Ben comes in handy. Say this is like your last attack, and you do have Ben still in deck. When you swing with Vanguard, call this out, mill 2. Oh, I milled Ben. Ben comes out now too. So, and you'll never have a soul issue, by the way. Soul will not be a problem. So you'll easily just get this out. Now, this card, essentially what this card does is it makes your opponent's defense does not matter anymore, because you'll loop this a couple times. You won't just do this like once. You'll do this probably 1 to 4 times or so, depending on how your setup is going, depending on how many lazies you saw, what you called a Beatrice, what you got. With Reach you can grab this card, and then you can grab this card and then loop again, and then, you know, sack them, get Jesse, and you can loop a couple times. You can Columbard into it. You have a lot of options, a lot of approaches that you can get to this card, right? So many things that you can do. So it's just great. On top of the fact that this is a 15k shield as well. It's a 0, but it's also shield. It's great. So another 15k beater, another 15k shield, just more protection. So even if you draw into it, it's just really like shield to have. So this is never bad to have in your hand, and also discarding it for Greed Shade is just perfect. Discarding it for any of the skills they have at their discards are just really nice, because you usually always want this in your drop. But yeah, this card definitely changed the way the deck functions. I think the deck functions way better now. I used to run like a super aggro list, and then I had like my control list, which was like all ghosties at max, and then everything else. And now I'm like, wow, you can kind of have the best of both worlds now. You can just have the aggro and the control in one deck. Like, you don't need to like sit there and go, oh man, I don't have enough mill, or oh man, I don't have enough early game. Like you can just have both now, which is, I think, is amazing. So I'm still debating on how I want to build this deck, but that's kind of where I'm at right now with the main stuff. Now going on to triggers, I used to run 12 draw. As you guys know, draw was like kind of the way, and a lot of people question like why I ran draw. You need to run draw in the past because the deck relied on pieces so fast. You didn't have the milling power to get through your deck fast enough, and also the deck doesn't draw that much, and you need to see your stuff ASAP, and you kind of just need to go with the 12 draw build. That's just how it used to be. But now I think you can actually get away with maybe a couple crits, nothing crazy, but just a couple. And right now I'm experimenting with my ratios. I'm not 100% on them, but right now I am running, this is my starter, that's my starter, but right now I'm running actually 5 crit. And like I said, I might change it. I actually might take 1 crit out and go back to like more draws. And I'm running 3 regular draws, and then I'm running the 4 PGs, and then for the heals I'm running 3 heal guardians, and I'm running 1 of Rick the Ghosty, which is, by the way, a 25k shield because it's a 20 normally, and then you get the extra 5k, and then on a protect 2 it's like a 35k shield. It's insanely high shield. So that's sort of where I'm at right now. I used to run this at 4, you know, even with the new build. I kind of made the mistake there. That was a really bad idea. I really should have bumped this down, because there's so many games I had where I went second and my opponent rushes me down, and I'm facing like Messiah, and they're like 78k with the crit and all the stupid stuff, and I was actually holding these, and I was like, oh my god, if I just had a heal guardian right now, I'd be perfectly fine. I wouldn't be taking like 50 damage. It would have been great. But anyway, so I'm running the 3-1 split right now, because I do still think this sometimes you want to go into this over this as a finishing move, like not as a finishing turn. If you know you're not killing your opponent, whatever, and you know that they can't retire it, you want to go into this as a way to just have a beefy shield on the board. But when you don't need to do that, you just go into this instead. So that's why I still run 1 copy. But yeah, that's the list. That's the whole list. And yeah, there's just so much going on here. There's just so much this deck provides. I think I need to make like a separate video just to explain every single combo this deck. I might do that actually. I might make a separate combo video for this, because I think it needs one. What I just explained to you is like the cherry on top of the mountain for this deck. I'm not trying to like say, oh my gosh, so big brain, but it does require a bit of work. Like, this isn't I feel like Night Rose is like a lot easier to pilot, just a lot easier to use in comparison to this deck. Like I said, these ratios are still super experimental. I know some people have already been questioning my ratios. I keep trying to tell people like I'm still testing. I'm obviously, like, I don't have time currently, and I don't need to test right now because I have better things to focus on, which is currently deformat, since I'm casting for it. So this is kind of like my side stuff right now, but I truly think I'm getting kind of close. But this is currently what I'm ratioing with, and you know, you experiment with your list. You could change things how you want. Like I said, there's multiple cards you could throw in. This is a good example. Navigator is a good example. If you want to turn 2 rush, you can do that. You can turn 2 rush your opponent. You can have 4 attacks on turn 2 if you super open the nut. I realized I forgot to mention protect 1 and protect 2. This is a very heavy protect 2 deck. You almost never want to go protect 1. Go protect 1 if you really just think you can afford to. There really is never a reason to go protect 1, even if your stuff gets retired now, especially since you have make the go see itself. Self-retires, you can actually get away with going Protect 2 either way. Since stuff self-retires, sometimes the Protect 2 is not doing anything but giving you numbers. And the numbers really matter because your opponent will try very hard to hit defenses. They'll try their best. I don't know what they'll do, but they'll try their best. This is the Protect 2 deck, not a Protect 1 deck. So I thought I'd show you guys like a Mulligan game, because I don't know, I just think a Mulligan game would be nice to see. Hopefully we get some good stuff here. I accidentally forgot to record my first one that I did, and that was probably the best one. So we'll see what we have here. So let's go ahead and do our draws. We're sending back 3. This is kind of greedy, but maybe it'll pay off. It might pay off. We'll see. It's not the best hand, but we'll work with it. We can still get it back. So let's see what if we go first or second. Got a 3. I got a 5. So I'm going second. So we're gonna go ahead and draw. I'm gonna call Damien. Use Damien's skill. We're gonna directly search for Beatrice in this situation, actually, since we do not have a Beatrice, and we're gonna, you know, do a little shuffle. And actually in this situation we can go ahead and call another Damien right here, and we're actually going to go ahead and grab Ben the Ghosty. Let's grab Ben the Ghosty. We'll Soul Blast him out, call him here, and do a little bit of an early rush. You can also do something like this if you want to, but it's a little bit risky if your opponent hits 1 defense. But, you know, and they'll usually say no guard because they'll be like, oh, well, you know, what's the worst that can happen? But ideally, I think this is just better. So you're going to swing, and then you're going to swing here, and we're going to check it. Ooh, it's a draw, so we're going to draw. And then it's our opponent's turn. They can choose to swing here, but we don't really care that much. But we'll say they're dumb and say they swing at Vanguard. So then we draw, and we stand, and we can go to Columbard this time. By like the last game I didn't actually get a chance to do this. So we can go to Columbard here, and we can just mill out whatever we're in the mood for. In this case, it could be either Bone or Jesse, pretty much whatever you think would be useful for us here. I think we could actually even go for the ship. So I'm actually going to go for the ship in this situation because drawing is nice. Or you can get Bone too, but I mean, sorry, Lazy, but that's not. We don't have the full condition for him. Anyway, we're gonna call out Greed Shade here, and then we're gonna drop this card, mill 2 cards, and we're gonna add the Beatrice back to hand since we still don't have one. And then, oh, look at that, we did get our Jesse, so we can actually get rid of both of these and call Jesse out. So that worked out perfectly. And now you can just swing. So you can start here if you want. You know, 17. Oh, sorry, we call him 17, and oh, another Beatrice. And then you can go this will die, a counter charge for you, and then you can go Ghost Ship, and then Ghost Ship will die, and you draw a card. And then now it's your opponent's turn. We're probably gonna take some damage here, maybe guard a little bit, you know, guard like that. Maybe go to 3, and power draw, and then now it's our turn. And we draw again, and wow, this is a lot of Beatrice. This is a little too much Beatrice. We don't need this many. So we're gonna get rid of that. We don't have a Lazy this game, which is actually not the most ideal. With not having Lazy is actually very hurtful. You usually want to have Lazy, and us not having access to him is actually very bum. So we're actually going to Greed Shade. So we'll use Greed Shade's skill. We'll drop this time. Mill 2. Still no Bone, so we're actually going to pick up Columbard. Then we're going to force it out. So we're going to get our boy here, because we have to apparently. And we'll get him out like this, and then we'll use his effect. Actually, we'll probably, yeah, we'll do it like this, and then we'll go ahead and call the Mick. Oh god, I'm making a mess. Go ahead and call the Mick, and then use Mick's skill to mill 2. And yeah, now we'll give 10k to Vanguard off of his skill, and we're actually gonna go for the retire here to grab Jesse. But I think instead of this, I should probably do this. So we're gonna go ahead and grab Jesse, double retire for Jesse. So there's Jesse. We have that set up now. We just need another column on the other side. So I think what we're going to do here is we're actually gonna pitch a Beatrice, or we can actually Soul Blast here. We're actually gonna Soul Blast and just call out a ship. Just because we're not going to be riding a 3rd time. I really doubt it. I doubt we'll ride a 3rd time. And then yeah, that's it. And then we just start going Funsieville. So we'll start here. We'll blast. We draw a card. I call out the 1. So go like this, and then we'll swing, let it die, and then we'll call out the 0. 0 skill. We'll mill 2. Give 10k to something. Go ahead and put the 10k here. Swing with him. Actually, we'll put 10k to himself. Swing with him. Let him die. Then we can choose to swing with Van for Mick, or we can swing here. So it's kind of up to you. We're actually I'm just gonna go ahead and swing here. We'll let this die. We'll go into the 1, and then we'll swing here. And this one will cost a counter blast, and then we'll let this die. And then you can choose which 0 you want to go into. We can go into this one or the milling one. I'm actually gonna prioritize the Rick the Ghosty here, and then we're gonna swing with Vanguard. kind of do our checks here. Nothing too crazy, and then we'll swing here, and that'll end our turn. This will die. And boom, bam, just like that. And then here, from here on out, you probably just want to take some damage. That is not the damage I've been wanting to take, but that's fine. Guard a little bit, guard a little bit, guard some more, guard some more. Hopefully survive. We're very close to death here. I'll run another Beatrice, get the effect. Now, do we have a dragon? Do not have a dragon. That's pretty not good. That is not good at all. We have 3 cards in hand. We can probably get there. So first we're gonna start with the bone. Use bone skill to call out Mick. Use Mick's skill to mill 2. Give 10k to Vanguard again. Get rid of both of these to get out our Jesse guy. Come on, Jesse. There's Jesse. Actually, you can even actually get rid of these and keep this guy on the board. And then we'll use this skill to mill 2. There's our dragon. Thank goodness. Dragon. Bring back something to hand. Doesn't really matter now what we bring back to hand because we're just gonna probably call it. I'll probably do this first. Do 1, 2, 3. Wow, that was triggers. Holy crap, that was so many triggers. I think actually that would be better in the situation is to call this. Get another Mick the Ghosty. We're gonna actually call another Mick the mill those 2. Same trigger amount, and then we're going to move it this way and then drop this card for a lazy, or sorry, bone. I get them so confused. And then we're just gonna call the dragon over on this side just like that, and that's our setup right there. So this is a pretty good setup here. Sorry, that was kind of messy. A lot of stuff going on, and then yeah, you just kind of start going crazy. So you're gonna go Jesse into battle. This is a battle phase now. Oh, I did not give 10k to something. I didn't, did I? Yeah, I didn't give 10k to something. We'll give 10k. We'll just give 10k to Van. Anyway, you're gonna go Jesse into your grade 1, and then grade 1's gonna swing for 23. We're gonna kill it and then go into Mick. So here's Mick, and then Mick will activate Mick's skill here. So we'll mill 2, and then we'll give the 10k probably to himself, or we'll give it to the booster back here. Chances are it'll be the booster. So then he will swing, he instantly dies, and then if we had 1 open counterblast, we actually normally you do. We kind of went a little crazy on our first turn because we had to since we went second. But sometimes you can swing with Van if you have an open counterblast and get another Mick out. But in this situation, we're actually not gonna be able to do that. So we're actually gonna go ahead and swing with Van anyway. Do it like this, and then do our drive checks here. So that's our drive check. Power here, crit here, right? So that'll do that, and then we're gonna swing with dragon. Dragon has a crit on it, boosted, and then dragon will die. We'll counterblast, go into the 2, and then we'll swing with the 2, go into the. You got options here. You can go either into the 1 or the 0. I'm gonna pick the 0, but I actually think the 1 is better. The 1 gives you better numbers. So go into the 1, and then you'll finish your turn here. Oh, this is dead. You'll finish your turn here essentially, and that's pretty much it. And this column right here, by the way, is 13, 23 for her effects, 33, 43, 53. So this is your last attack is 53, just FYI. So in case your opponent just hit defenses, you'll be okay. And that's pretty much it. If we had 1 more counterblast, we probably could have done a little bit more, and this was what was left in our deck. So very spicy, very solid, and that's pretty much the Beatrice deck. So that we saw, but it was pretty good there. We kind of saw everything we need to see, and it worked out pretty well. So I'm very happy. And yeah, if you tested with this deck, please let me know how your thoughts are. How are you feeling about Mick the Ghosty? I hear a lot of people don't like Mick the Ghosty. I didn't at first either, and I really recommend people trying it out. I think it added to the deck, not subtracted. So that is that, and I think that's really it. That's my whole list. Nice little max rarity list. I'm very blessed to have this deck. It's been so much fun to play with, and I just can't wait to play more. Can't wait to play more. It really brought me back to Grand Blue. I've missed playing Grand Blue and just having such a great time, and it's just been fun. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Good luck with your testing. Good luck with your stuff. If you have any questions, please leave them below. And if you need any cards, shop at thecards.shop for anything that you may need. Use code ORANGE for all your stuff. That doesn't matter what set you need. If you need stuff for D, forget stuff for D, B, whatever you need. Peace out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Catch you guys in the future, whatever it is I'm doing. Bye.